Jack Carter looked out the small window of his room on the space station, watching ships come and go. He was not a famous person. He was not even very strong or very smart, but he cared deeply about people. Jack always tried to help others, no matter how small the problem. That was probably why the United Earth Council picked him for this mission. He did not know exactly why, but they said he was needed for something very important. Jack was nervous but excited. He wanted to prove he could do something good. Early one morning, Jack got a call to meet with Admiral Blake. The Admiral was tall, serious, and always spoke directly. Jack hurried to the meeting room. When he walked in, he saw two other people waiting. One was a young woman with glasses and a kind smile. Her name was Lily Morgan, a scientist who loved to learn about new things. The other was a man with short brown hair and quick eyes. He was Ethan Brooks, an experienced pilot who had traveled to many strange places. Admiral Blake told them about the situation. Far away in the Orion sector, a planet named Kalira had called for help. The leader of Kalira, King Valor, said that something was wrong, but he did not trust anyone except the human team. The Galactic Council worried that there was danger from an unknown alien group, maybe even sabotage. The Admiral looked at Jack, Lily, and Ethan. He said, "You three have been chosen for this job. It is dangerous, but we believe you can do it." Jack asked, "Why did you choose me?" The Admiral smiled just a little. "You care about people, Jack. Kalira needs someone like you. Not just a fighter, but a person who understands others." Jack felt a mix of pride and fear. He wanted to help, but he knew it would not be easy. He looked at Lily and Ethan. They both nodded. Jack said, "We'll do our best." The next day, they prepared to leave. Jack packed only what he needed. Some clothes, a small first aid kit, and a photo of his family. Lily brought her science tools and some books. Ethan carried a small bag with his favorite old jacket and some snacks. Together, they walked to their ship, the Horizon. It was not very big, but it was strong and fast. Ethan checked everything twice to make sure they were safe. When they left the station, Jack felt his heart beat faster. Space was always beautiful, but also lonely. He knew they were going to a place no human had visited before. As the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, Jack looked at his friends. He said, "Whatever happens, we stay together." The trip took many hours. Lily explained to Jack about Kalira. It was a world with bright blue forests and tall mountains. The people of Kalira were proud, but also kind if you earned their trust. Their leader, King Valor, was famous for being wise but careful with outsiders. Jack listened carefully, asking questions and trying to understand what he could do to help. Ethan told stories about his old missions, making everyone laugh. He said, "Every planet is different, but people everywhere need friends." Jack liked that thought. He hoped they could make friends on Kalira too. Finally, the ship reached orbit above Kalira. They saw the planet's green and blue colors below. Ethan talked with the planet's landing station. The voice that answered was cold and formal, telling them to land near the royal city. As the ship landed, Jack saw tall towers and bright lights. People in strange clothing watched them from a distance. When they left the ship, guards met them. The guards were tall, with silver armor and calm faces. They spoke a different language, but Lily used a small device to translate. The guards took them to the royal palace. Everything was new and a little scary. Jack noticed that people looked at him with surprise and maybe even hope. He wondered why inside the palace. The air smelled sweet like flowers. They walked down long halls with colorful glass windows. Finally, they entered a large room where King Valor waited. The king was older, with kind eyes but a serious look. He sat on a tall chair, wearing deep blue robes. Next to him stood a young woman with pale skin and bright blue eyes. She looked tired and worried. King Valor spoke slowly. "Thank you for coming. My people are in danger. My daughter, Arya, is very sick. Our best healers cannot help her. We heard that humans can do things others cannot. Will you try to help us? Jack looked at Lily. She nodded. Jack said softly, we will try everything we can. As the meeting ended, Jack realized this was much more than a simple mission. The life of a princess and maybe the future of a planet depended on them. Jack felt the weight of the task, but he also felt hope. With Lily and Ethan beside him, he believed they could make a difference, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Jack, Lily, and Ethan followed the tall guards through the palace. The halls were long and filled with soft lights. Jack tried to remember everything. He wanted to understand this new place. He saw strange plants in glass jars and paintings of blue forests. Lily watched closely, looking for anything that might help her learn about the people and their world. They were taken to a quiet room where they could rest for a while. The chairs were soft, and the room smelled like flowers. Jack sat down and closed his eyes for a moment, trying to think about what they should do next. Lily took out her small computer and began writing notes. Ethan looked out the window at the city below. He saw markets and streets filled with people who moved slowly and carefully. Soon a servant came to bring them food. The food was colorful and tasted sweet and strange. Jack thanked the servant. He noticed the servant looked worried, so he tried to smile and be friendly. After the meal, a royal advisor entered the room. He was a thin man with silver hair and teal silver hair, sharp eyes. He said his name was Scifistories, spoke in a calm voice. The princess's sickness began 3 weeks ago. She grows weaker each day. Our healers have tried many things, but nothing works. The people are afraid. They think this sickness is a sign of bad luck, or maybe even a curse. Some even blame outsiders for what is happening. Jack listened carefully. He asked, is anyone else sick? Or just Princess Arya? Siren shook his head. Only her. That is why it is so strange. She was healthy before. Lily asked, can we see her soon? I need to do some tests. Siren nodded. The king said you may see her after sunset. Please rest for now. After Siren left, Ethan leaned forward. Something about this feels wrong. It's too quiet here. People are nervous. Jack agreed. We have to be careful. But we came here to help, and that's what we'll do. The day passed slowly. Jack watched as the sky outside changed from blue to a soft purple. Lights in the city came on, and music drifted up from the streets. Lily studied the information she had collected about the planet's plants and medicines. She hoped to find something that might help Arya Dot at last. Siren returned and led them down another long hallway. 2 guards opened a tall door, and Jack saw a large, bright room filled with soft light. Princess Arya lay on a bed covered with silver blankets. Her eyes were closed, and her skin looked pale. Next to her sat the king, who looked worried but hopeful when he saw Jack and his friends. Lily walked to Arya's side and checked her pulse. She spoke gently. Princess, can you hear me? Arya's eyes opened a little. She smiled weakly. At Lily, Jack stepped closer and said, we are here to help. We will not hurt you. Lily took out a small scanner and began to check Arya's body. She noticed strange marks on the princess's neck and arms. Lily asked, did anything happen before you became sick? Arya spoke softly. I went into the forest with my friends. I remember feeling a sharp pain, but I thought it was nothing. Jack asked, did you see any strange animals or people? Arya shook her head slowly. No, just the wind in the trees. Lily finished her test and looked at Jack. She whispered, there is something in her blood. I do not recognize it. We must work quickly. King Valor watched them closely. Will she be all right? Lily answered, I need to study the sample. I will do everything I can. They left the princess's room and went back to their quarters. Lily worked late into the night. Jack and Ethan talked quietly. Jack worried about the people who blamed outsiders. He did not want to cause more trouble, but he knew they could not leave Arya alone. Later, Lily called Jack and Ethan to her table. There is something very strange. This is not a normal sickness. There is a small living thing in her blood. It is not like anything I have seen before. It is not from this planet. Ethan looked surprised. Do you think someone did this? On purpose? Lily nodded. I think so. Maybe someone wants to hurt the royal family. Jack felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. We have to tell the king, but we must be careful. If the wrong person hears, it could cause panic. The friends agreed to keep what they found secret for now. Jack promised Lily and Ethan that they would protect Arya and find out who was behind the sickness. Outside, the city was quiet, but Jack knew trouble was close. He promised himself he would not give up, no matter how hard things became. Jack woke up early the next morning. He did not sleep well because he kept thinking about the princess and the strange sickness. He worried about what would happen if they failed. He walked to the window and looked out at the quiet city. The sun was rising, and a soft light made everything look calm. But Jack knew there was trouble waiting below the surface. Lily was already awake and busy with her tests. She showed Jack her notes. The thing in Arya's blood is very small and very strong. It is almost like a little machine or a tiny animal, but not one I know. It is not from Kalira. I am sure of that, she said. Jack listened carefully. He knew. Lily was smart and would do her best to help the princess. Ethan joined them, bringing some food and coffee. He tried to make everyone feel better by joking about the strange food they had eaten the night before. Jack smiled, glad that Ethan could still laugh. Soon, a guard came to take them to see the king again. The halls felt even more silent than before. Some of the palace workers looked at the humans with fear, but Jack smiled at everyone he passed. He wanted people to know he was not there to cause trouble. In the throne room, King Valor sat looking tired and worried. He greeted them and asked, Do you have any news about my daughter? Lily spoke gently. We have found something in her blood. It is very strange and does not belong to your world. I will try a new medicine to help her, but I must warn you it may not work. The king nodded. Trust in her. Do what you must. Jack and Lily went back to Arya's room. The princess was awake but weak. She smiled when she saw them. Jack talked to her, telling funny stories about Earth to make her smile. Lily cleaned her arm and gave her a small shot. She stayed by Arya's side, watching for any changes. Ethan left to explore the palace. He wanted to see if he could find anything strange that might explain what happened to the princess. As he walked, he noticed a servant sneaking around, carrying a small package. Ethan followed him quietly. The servant met another man in a dark cloak. They talked in low voices, and Ethan could not hear everything, but he caught a few words about the plan and the outsiders. Ethan hid and waited until they left. Then he checked the place where they met. He found a strange metal piece, small and cold to the touch. Ethan put it in his pocket and hurried back to tell Jack and Lily. While Ethan was away, Lily watched the princess. At first, nothing happened. Then Arya opened her eyes and whispered, I feel a little better. Lily smiled and checked her pulse. It was stronger. She called for Jack. Jack felt relief when he saw Arya smiling. He thanked Lily for her hard work. When Ethan returned, he showed them the metal piece. Lily studied it and said, This is not from Kalira either. Maybe this was used to hurt Arya. We must find out who did this. That evening, King Valor came to visit his daughter. He was very happy to see Arya awake and stronger. He thanked Jack, Lily, and Ethan for their help. You are true friends to my people, he said. But Jack warned him, Someone here is working against you. They may have brought the sickness. The king listened and promised to watch his court carefully. He ordered his guards to protect the humans and his daughter at all times. Jack, Lily, and Ethan talked together late into the night. They knew they had to find out who was behind the attack. Jack thought about the people he had seen in the palace. Maybe someone close to the king wanted to hurt Arya. Lily said she would run more tests on the metal piece. Ethan wanted to keep an eye on the servants. Before sleeping, Jack visited Arya. She thanked him for helping her. Jack said, "We are not heroes. We just want to help. I hope you get better soon." Arya smiled and held his hand for a moment. Jack felt a warm feeling in his heart. He promised her they would not leave until she was safe. That night, Jack lay awake, thinking about everything. He knew the danger was not over, but he also knew he and his friends had made a difference. For the first time since coming to Kalira, Jack felt real hope. He closed his eyes and tried to rest, ready for whatever would happen next. The palace was quiet at night. Jack lay in his bed, but he could not sleep. He kept thinking about the strange metal piece Ethan had found. Someone in the palace wanted to hurt Arya. Jack knew they had to be careful. He got up and walked softly to the window, looking out at the lights of the city. He wondered who the enemy was and how much danger they were really in. Lily was still awake, working at her table. She was looking at the metal piece under a small light. Jack joined her. "Did you find anything new?" he asked in a quiet voice. Lily shook her head. "Not yet. It is very advanced. Maybe not even made by people from Kalira, but I will keep trying." Jack thanked her and told her to rest for a while. He walked to Ethan's room. Ethan was checking a small map of the palace, drawing places where he had seen strange things. "There are a few rooms that are locked," Ethan whispered. "I think the answer is behind one of those doors." The next morning, Jack, Lily, and Ethan met for breakfast. Guards stood near them, keeping an eye on everything. The people in the palace seemed more nervous than before. Some looked at the humans with fear. Jack tried to smile and be friendly, but he could feel the tension in the air. After breakfast, Siren, the royal advisor, came to see them. "The king wants to thank you. Arya is feeling stronger today," he said. Jack was happy to hear this. Siren asked if they needed anything. Lily asked for more information about the forest where Arya was hurt. Siren promised to help and left quickly. Later, Arya visited them in their room. She was still weak, but she smiled. She thanked them for saving her life. Jack told her they would not stop until they found the person who made her sick. Arya wanted to help too. She said she remembered something odd. "The night I got sick, I saw someone in a black cloak near the edge of the forest. I thought it was just a dream, but now I am not sure." Ethan listened carefully. He wanted to search the palace for the person in the black cloak. Jack agreed. Together, they planned to look for clues. That night, Jack and Ethan waited until the palace was quiet. Lily stayed with Arya to keep her safe. Jack and Ethan walked down the empty halls. They stayed in the shadows and moved quietly. They reached a locked door near the garden. Ethan used a small tool to open the lock. Inside, they found boxes filled with strange devices and more metal pieces like the one Ethan had found. Suddenly, they heard a noise. Someone was coming. Jack and Ethan hid behind a large box. A man in a black cloak entered the room. He spoke quietly into a small communicator. "Everything is ready. We move tomorrow. The humans will take the blame." Jack recognized the voice. It was one of the king's advisors, not Siren, but another named Derek. Jack felt angry. Someone so close to the king was behind this. After Derek left, Jack and Ethan hurried back to tell Lily and Arya. Lily listened carefully to their story. She said, "We must warn the king, but we must also protect ourselves. Derek has friends in the palace." The next day, Jack went to see King Valor. He told the king everything they had learned. The king looked very sad. "I trusted Derek for many years, but I see now that he must answer for his crimes." King Valor called his guards and ordered them to watch Derek and his friends. But Derek was clever. He saw the guards and ran. Jack, Ethan, and several guards chased him through the palace. They ran down long halls and up and down stairs. Derek tried to escape through a secret door, but Ethan caught him. The guards took Derek away. Jack found more metal pieces in Derek's pockets. With Derek gone, things in the palace became calmer. People looked at Jack, Lily, and Ethan with More respect? King Valor thanked him for their bravery. You have saved my daughter and my kingdom, he said. But Jack knew it was not over. He said, someone help Derek. We have to find them too. That night, Arya sat with Jack in the garden. She looked up at the stars and said, you could have left us, but you stayed. You believed in us when others did not. I will never forget your kindness, Jack smiled. He said, no one should suffer alone. We all need help sometimes. As the night grew quiet, Jack thought about what would come next. He knew there were more secrets to discover and more danger to face. But he also knew he was not alone. With Lily, Ethan, and Arya by his side, Jack felt ready for anything that might happen in the days ahead. The days in the palace began to feel safer now that Derek was gone, but Jack knew that danger was still close. Even though the king trusted him, Jack could feel that someone else was hiding in the shadows. Lily and Ethan felt the same. They kept their eyes open and listened carefully whenever they were in the halls or the gardens. One morning, Lily came running to Jack with a message she found slipped under their door. It was a small piece of paper with words written in a shaky hand. They are not alone. There is another. Beware. Lily showed the note to Jack and Ethan. They all knew it meant that Derek had help from someone else inside the palace. Jack talked with King Valor about the note. The king's face looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. He said, we will find the one who helped Derek. You must be careful. I do not want anything to happen to you or my daughter. Arya also wanted to help. She was feeling much better and could walk in the garden. She told Jack, there are people in the court who do not want change. They fear the friendship between humans and our world. Jack listened to her and promised to protect her and her family. Later that day, Lily worked on the metal pieces and discovered that each one had a tiny code inside. She spent hours at her table, reading the symbols and lines. Ethan helped her by searching the palace for places where the metal pieces might have come from. Jack stayed with Arya, talking with her and learning more about Kalira's history. Arya told him about the royal family, old rivalries, and how some nobles did not like outsiders. Ethan came back with news. I heard two servants whispering about a meeting in the East Tower tonight. They sounded nervous. I think we should watch them. Jack agreed, and they made a plan. Lily would stay with Arya in her room to keep her safe. Jack and Ethan would hide near the East Tower and wait for anyone who came. When the sun went down, Jack and Ethan hid behind some tall plants near the tower. The night was quiet, except for the sound of the wind. After a while, two figures walked to the tower door. One was a servant, and the other was a noblewoman with a red scarf. Jack remembered seeing her with Derek at dinner. The two figures spoke in low voices. Jack could only hear some words: plan, technology, and king. Suddenly, a third person arrived. He wore dark clothes and carried a small box. He said, Corvin wants this done quickly. The others nodded, and the noblewoman took the box. After the meeting, Jack and Ethan followed the three people back to the palace. They saw the noblewoman give the box to a guard near the royal stables. Jack wanted to grab the box, but he knew it was too dangerous right then. He waited until everyone was gone. Then Ethan distracted the guard, and Jack carefully took the box and brought it to Lily. Inside the room, Lily opened the box. Inside was a small device that glowed with a strange blue light. This is alien technology, Lily said, her eyes wide. It is much more advanced than anything we have seen here. Jack asked, do you think this was used to hurt Arya? Lily nodded. Maybe it controls the little creatures in her blood. Or maybe it is meant for something worse. They all felt scared. The enemy was smarter than they thought. Jack told the king about the box and the meeting. King Valor listened carefully and asked, who is Corvin? Arya looked worried. Corvin was a noble. He was sent away for trying to take the throne many years ago. He must have returned. Jack said, we must find Corvin and stop him before he does more harm. The next day, Ethan learned from a guard that a ship had landed in a secret area. Behind the palace, Jack, Ethan, and 2 guards went to check. They found a hidden path leading to a cave in the hills. Inside, they found more boxes like the one with the blue light and more strange devices. Suddenly, Corvin appeared with several armed followers. Corvin spoke loudly, "You should have left. Now, none of you will leave this place." Jack and Ethan stood firm. The guards drew their weapons. A fight began in the cave. Jack remembered his promise to Arya and her family. He did not give up. He and Ethan fought hard, and the guards helped. At last, they captured Corvin and his followers. Jack felt tired but proud. Back at the palace, King Valor thanked Jack, Lily, and Ethan. "You have saved us again. My people are safe because of you." Jack smiled at his friends. He knew that together, they could face anything. But he also knew that peace would not last forever. There were always more dangers in the galaxy, but for now, he was happy to see Arya and her people safe and free. The days after Corvin's capture felt different in the palace. People were kinder to Jack, Lily, and Ethan. The king's advisors now greeted them with smiles, and the guards looked at them with respect. But Jack did not feel safe. He knew that the enemy had been clever, and it was possible there were still secrets in the palace. Lily was still studying the alien technology. She stayed up late at night, drawing the symbols she found on the blue light devices and trying to figure out how they worked. One evening, she rushed to Jack and Ethan with excitement in her eyes. "I found something important. The devices are sending messages. I think someone outside the palace is listening." Jack felt worry in his stomach. If someone is listening, then maybe Corvin was not the real mastermind. Maybe there is someone even more dangerous. Ethan said, "We have to find out who is receiving the messages." They decided to tell King Valor. He listened closely and said, "There is an old listening station in the mountains. It was used long ago for secret talks. If you believe someone is hiding there, I will send my best guards with you." Jack, Lily, and Ethan agreed to go. They packed their things and prepared for a journey outside the city. Arya wanted to come, but Jack said it was too dangerous. Arya promised to stay safe and help her father keep watch at the palace. The journey to the mountains was quiet and cold. The wind blew hard and the path was rough. The guards with them walked carefully, watching for trouble. After many hours, they reached the old station. It was hidden among tall rocks and twisted trees. The doors were rusty, but Ethan pushed them open. Inside, it was dark and smelled of dust. Lily turned on her light and looked around. "There are footprints," she whispered. Jack nodded and followed the marks to a small room filled with old machines. Some of the machines were turned on. There were screens showing messages and symbols in a strange language. Ethan found a hidden door behind a shelf. He opened it slowly. Inside, there were 3 people, dressed in black and talking quietly. When they saw Jack and the others, they tried to run, but the guards caught them. Jack demanded, "Who are you working for?" One man answered, "We answer to the highest bidder. Corvin was just a name. Many want to see the king fall." Lily searched the room and found more blue light devices. She said, "These are sending messages to a ship in space. That is where the real leader is." Jack used the old radio to call the palace. He spoke to Arya and told her what they had found. Arya said, "Father will send ships to look for the enemy in space. Please come home soon." Before leaving, Ethan took all the blue light devices and destroyed them, so no more messages could be sent. Jack and Lily searched the station for more clues, but found only old papers with strange marks. Lily put them in her bag, hoping to study them later. On the way back to the palace, the group talked quietly. Jack felt proud of what they had done, but also worried about the ship in space. "We have stopped the messages for now, but someone up there is still trying to hurt Arya and her family." Back at the palace, King Valor thanked Jack, Lily, and Ethan again. He told the people about the danger and warned them to be careful. Arya hugged Jack and said, "You are a true friend. You have done more than anyone else." That night, Lily worked late to study the old papers. Ethan kept watch at the doors. Jack sat in the garden, thinking about all that had happened. He remembered the first day he came to Kalira and how much had changed. He knew their work was not finished, but he believed they were close to the end. The next morning, Lily ran to Jack and Ethan with good news. "I have broken the code. The papers tell about a meeting place where the leader will arrive soon. If we hurry, we can catch him before he escapes." Jack felt hope and energy rise in his chest. He looked at his friends and said, "Let's finish this together." With the king's blessing, Jack, Lily, and Ethan prepared for the final journey. They knew it would be hard, but they would not give up. They had come too far to let evil win. As they left the palace, Arya watched them go, her eyes shining with pride and worry. Jack promised her, "We will come back. We will make sure your world is safe." And with those words, they set out toward the last battle, ready to face whatever was waiting for them. Jack, Lily, and Ethan moved quickly as they left the palace for their last mission. The air outside was cold, and the sun was just rising, casting a soft light over the hills. The city behind them was quiet, but everyone knew the three humans were leaving for something important. Arya stood at the gates, waving to them with hope and worry in her eyes. The path led them far from the city, through thick forests and along rocky hills. Jack felt both nervous and strong. He knew this was their last chance to stop the threat to Arya and her people. Ethan led the way with careful steps, always checking for danger. Lily studied her map and the strange papers she had found, looking for any clue to the secret meeting place. After a long walk, they reached an old stone bridge. Below the bridge was a hidden cave. The papers had said the leader would meet here before leaving the planet. Jack looked at his friends. "This is it. We must be careful." They entered the cave quietly. The walls were damp, and their footsteps echoed. Far inside, they heard voices. Jack told everyone to stay close. They saw a small group of people talking around a table. At the head was a tall man with sharp eyes and dark clothes. This was the real leader. His name was Draven. He was not from Kalira. He was from a world far away, and he wanted to control Kalira's power for himself. Draven spoke in a cold voice. "The king is weak. Soon the people will beg for new leaders. With my technology, I can control anyone." Jack listened and waited for the right moment. Lily whispered, "He has the last device. If he uses it, many people could be hurt." Ethan nodded and quietly moved behind some rocks, getting ready. Jack took a deep breath and stepped out. "It's over, Draven. We know what you have done. Surrender. Now." Draven laughed and lifted the blue light device. "You cannot stop me. You're only human." Jack stood tall. "Sometimes being human is enough. We fight for our friends, not for power." Draven tried to use the device, but Lily threw a small stone at his hand. The device fell to the ground and broke. Ethan ran forward and grabbed Draven, holding him down. The rest of the group ran away, afraid. Jack picked up the broken device. "It's finished. Your plan failed." Draven was angry, but the fight was over. The guards from the palace, who had followed Jack and his friends quietly, now entered the cave and took Draven away. Jack, Lily, and Ethan felt relief. The danger was over at last. They walked back to the city. The sky was bright, and people came out to watch them return. When they reached the palace, King Valor met them at the gates. He looked proud and happy. "You have saved us all," he said. "There is nothing I can give you that will match what you have done, but I will try." The king led them into the palace where a big celebration was held. People cheered and thanked the three humans for their courage and kindness. Arya hugged Jack and said, "You are our hero." Later that evening, King Valor gave them a special gift, a small device made from Kalira's rare crystal. This is a symbol of our friendship. You are welcome here always." Jack felt humble and grateful. He looked at Lily and Ethan, who were also smiling. He knew they had all changed. They had come to Kalira as strangers, but now they were part of its story. As the sun set, Jack walked in the garden with Arya. She said, "Because of you, our worlds can work together. We have hope again." Jack smiled. It was not just me. We all did it together. In the days that followed, the humans helped the people of Kalira rebuild and heal. Lily worked with local healers, sharing what she learned about the strange sickness. Ethan taught the pilots about new flying skills. Jack visited schools and told children stories of Earth and Kalira. The friendship between their worlds grew stronger each day. When it was time to leave, Jack, Lily, and Ethan promised to return. Arya gave Jack a small flower as a sign of trust. "No matter how far you go, you will always have friends here." Jack looked at his friends as they entered their ship. "Let's go home," he said. "But let's not forget the friends we made and the lessons we learned." The ship lifted off and sailed into the stars, carrying the three humans back to Earth. Their story became legend, a tale of courage, kindness, and hope among the stars. And wherever they went, Jack, Lily, and Ethan remembered that even in the darkest times, friendship could light the way.